Hi, Marcus. Thanks for that. Are there any benefits to folder structures, managing your information within folder structures within a business? And do those benefits outweigh anything in terms of moving to the cloud?
So folder structures really came around about, 30, 40 years ago. So we used to have just flat structures where all of the files would live in one place. So we had to come up with a way of organizing them in a way that we could store multiple versions of files or just to organize that big mass of files in a better way. And so really, we just used the language of what offices had back then. So we have desktops on our PCs, we have folders and files, and we're just reflecting what we used to do. But in the real world, you've got one piece of paper that can only go into one folder location. So in the digital world, we've got the ability to store multiple versions of files if we want to in multiple locations. So folder structures kind of reflect the way that we used to work in the real physical world, but probably aren't the best way to work in the digital world. And for me, the problem is that when you're defining a folder structure, what you're trying to say is, if I'm trying to store a piece of information or find a piece of information, where's the one location that I can put that? And the challenge in doing that really can be summarized by miscellaneous. Anybody who's ever come up with any sort of filing system always has a folder called miscellaneous for that one thing that you can't decide where it goes. And so even if people are following what they mentally think of as the right folder structure and are putting information into the right folder, the person coming to try and find that information later might have a very different idea of how folders work and will be looking in a completely different location and unable to find it. So for me, I think folder structures have had their time. I think they solved the problem that we had 30, 40 years ago. But now with modern digital systems, I think it's time to move on from folders.